Nico Williams, 23 years old, Euro 2024 winner, one of the most exciting wide players in world football at his peak. He said yes to Manchester United. And if you're a United fan right now, your first instinct is probably to get excited. I get it. I really do. Because on paper, on pure paper, this is the kind of signing that makes you sit up straight, that makes you think, okay, we're actually doing this. We're actually going after someone elite. But there is a version of this story that nobody is really telling you. And I think it's the most important version because the headline is Nico Williams said yes. The real story is, should Manchester United say yes back? And that is a very different question. There are things about this deal, real, verified, documented things that are being glossed over in the excitement, things that would make you pause, things that honestly worried me when I sat down and looked at the full picture. So that's what we're doing today. No hype, no agenda, just an honest look at what this transfer actually means and whether it's as good as it sounds. I'm Bella, by the way. Welcome to Bella MUFC Analysis, where we go deeper than the headlines. If you're new here, hit subscribe. It's free. It helps more than you know. And trust me, this is the kind of content you want more of in your life. Drop a like as well if you're already locked in. All right, let's get into it. So let's start with the context, because context is everything here. Manchester United are in a genuinely good place right now, third in the Premier League, 55 points from 32 games. Champions League football is guaranteed, not likely, not probable, guaranteed. UEFA have already listed us among England's confirmed qualifiers for next season. That is confirmed, and that matters enormously. Because one of the big questions around any big signing, will they choose us over the clubs in the Champions League? That question is already answered. We're in it. So when Nico Williams weighs up his options, he doesn't have to choose between ambition and United. We can offer him both. Michael Carrick has genuinely rebuilt something at this club. And I want to be clear about that because it's easy to forget how bad things were not that long ago. The football is better. The structure is better. The belief is back. And that makes us an attractive destination in a way that simply wasn't true a year or two ago. So the environment is right. But here's the part I need you to really think about. A good environment doesn't automatically make a good transfer. And this is where I think a lot of the commentary around Nico Williams is getting it wrong. Let me talk about who Nico Williams actually is right now, not who he was now. Because there are two Nico Williamses. There's the Nico Williams of Euro 2024, electric, unstoppable, terrorising fullbacks, creating chaos with every touch. That Nico Williams was genuinely special, one of the most exciting wide players I had watched in years, and I say that without any agenda. He was brilliant. And then there's the Nico Williams of the 2025 to 26 season, 26 appearances, 4 goals, 6 assists. Now those numbers alone, they're not embarrassing. 4 goals and 6 assists across a season isn't a disaster. But when you compare it to what we know he's capable of, when you look at the context behind those numbers, the story changes completely, because here's what those numbers are hiding. He has only started 18 of those 26 games. He's played just 1,728 minutes of football all season. To put that in perspective, his own teammate played nearly 1,200 minutes more than him. 1,200. That's essentially a full extra half season of football that Nico Williams missed or couldn't complete. And why? Pubalgia. Now, if you don't know what pubalgia is, and there's no shame in that, it's not talked about enough. It's a groin condition, inflammation in the pubic area. It's complicated, it's persistent, and it is absolutely brutal for wide players who depend on explosive lateral movements and sprint bursts. It's the kind of injury that doesn't just stop you physically, it limits your confidence too, because every time you make that sharp run, every time you try to beat someone on the outside, there's a part of your brain wondering if the pain is coming back. And for Nico Williams, it did come back. He was ruled out indefinitely in February. They even started talking about surgery that could have ended his season entirely, that could have taken him out of the 2026 World Cup conversation. And here's something that actually caught my attention when I was researching this. Athletic Bilbao themselves, his own club, they are reportedly growing disappointed with his form since he returned. Not the media, not outside critics, his own club. That tells you something. That tells you that even the people watching him every single day in training, every single week in games are concerned. Tell me honestly, is that the profile of a 90 million euro player? Now look, I'm not here to bury Nico Williams. That's not what this is. Because here is the thing I genuinely believe. His ceiling is still real. His talent is not in question. The ability is there. The technical quality is there. When he is fit, when he is firing, he is one of the best left wingers on the planet. And I mean that. But football is not played on ceilings. It's played on pitches. And right now, Consistently getting him on that pitch is the problem. And this leads me to the question I keep coming back to. Is Manchester United's money better spent on a player with guaranteed output or on a player with maximum ceiling but real fitness risk? Because let's talk about what this deal actually costs. The release clause is somewhere between 90 and 100 million euros. That is the starting point. That is what it costs just to unlock the conversation. United are reportedly trying to negotiate down to around £69 million for an opening bid. And look, fair play, you always try to get a discount. But Athletic Bilbao are under no pressure to sell at a discount. Nico is contracted until 2035. They hold all the cards there. And then, and this is the part that genuinely made me stop and blink, the wage demands over £400,000 a week, 400,000. Now let's just sit with that for a second, because that isn't just a big number. That is a number that reshapes your entire wage structure. That is a number that affects what you can offer to every other player in your squad. That creates conversations in dressing rooms. That creates expectations. For a player who right now, in this moment, has produced 4 goals and 6 assists in a season plagued by injury, I want to be clear, I'm not saying he's not worth it at his absolute peak. I'm saying we are not being asked to sign his absolute peak. We're being asked to sign a version of him that is coming off an injury-disrupted season with a recurring issue that has no confirmed resolution at a price that would be eye-watering even for a fully fit, fully firing player. That's the honest picture. Now let me play devil's advocate with myself for a second, because I think it's important. The argument for doing this deal goes something like this. He's 23, he has time, Pabalga is manageable, the right medical team, the right load management, and you give him the environment to become what he was always supposed to be at the highest level. And at United, with Carrick's coaching and a Premier League platform, maybe he hits another gear entirely. Maybe 2 years from now, we're watching Nico Williams and thinking, best signing we've ever made. I hear that argument. I genuinely do. But here's the thing. That argument assumes 2 things that I'm not willing to just take for granted. One, that his injury resolves cleanly. And based on everything we've seen this season, based on the fact that the conservative treatment kept failing, based on the fact that surgery was genuinely on the table, that is not a safe assumption. It's a hope. And you cannot spend 100 million euros on a hope. 2, that he seamlessly fits into what we're building. And tactically, this is where I want to go a bit deeper, because I think the tactical conversation is being skipped entirely in the transfer coverage. Nico Williams is a left winger, a natural attacking left winger who wants to drive at defenders, create chaos in behind, and operate in that final third with freedom. He is at his best when he has space to run into and license to take risks. Now think about what United already have in that forward area. Mabumo, Sesko, and yes, the conversation around Kunka too. We're not exactly short of attacking options right now. So where does Nico Williams genuinely fit? Is he the starter on the left? Does someone move? Does someone drop to the bench? And if you're spending 100 million euros on a player, you need to know the answers to those questions before the deal is done, not after, before. Because here is my concern, my real concern. If you bring in Williams and there isn't a clear defined role for him, if there's ambiguity about how he fits, then you're not just risking the transfer fee, you're risking dressing room dynamics, you're risking player development, you're risking the whole structure that Carrick has spent a year building. That's not me being dramatic. That's me thinking about what actually happens inside a football club when big money comes in and the hierarchy shifts overnight. Now, if there's a plan, if Carrick has a specific tactical vision where Williams is the solution to a specific problem, then that changes things. But I haven't seen that plan communicated clearly anywhere, and that worries me. Let me also talk about the competition for this transfer, because United are not alone here. Chelsea are monitoring, Arsenal are in the mix. And here's what's interesting about Arsenal's situation specifically. They were heavily linked with Williams, and now United have entered and it's suddenly a bidding war. But ask yourself this, if Arsenal, who have Champions League football, who have a defined tactical system, who operate with genuine European pedigree, if Arsenal are going after the same player, then the price is going to go one direction only, up. And that's before Barcelona enter the conversation, because let's not forget, Nico Williams snubbed Barcelona last summer. He signed a 10-year deal at Athletic instead, but contracts have clauses, markets shift, and Barcelona still exist. If they come back seriously with a pitch to Williams about what they're building, United had better have a very compelling answer ready. Drop a comment below, by the way. Who do you think wins this race? Is it United, Arsenal, or does Barcelona swoop in at the last minute like they always seem to manage? Genuinely curious what you lot think. Okay, let me shift the tone slightly because I've been fairly cautious up to this point and I want to be honest about where I actually land on this. If Nico Williams is fit, if the bubble jar is resolved, if the medical tests come back clean and the physios at United believe they can manage his load properly, if those boxes are ticked, then I think you do this deal. I think you find a way because the talent is real, the potential is real. And the truth is, in this current transfer market, finding a player of his quality, of his age, with his ceiling, even at 100 million, is not easy. If he's healthy, that's not an overpay. That's market value for an elite left winger. But, and this is the but, that everything hinges on, I would not do this deal without absolute certainty on the medical. I would have our doctors fly to Bilbao. I would want every scan, every treatment note, every specialist report. I would want to know not just that he passed a medical, I'd want to know why this injury kept coming back and what the concrete plan is to stop it happening again, because the risk here is not just financial. If you spend 100 million on a player who spends half his time in the treatment room, you haven't just wasted money, you've wasted a transfer window, you've missed the chance to solve a real problem with someone who could have actually been on the pitch when it mattered. And for Manchester United right now, as we're building, as we're trying to go from good to great, a missed window matters, it matters a lot. There's also a bigger picture point here that I don't think gets talked about enough. This summer is not just about one signing. United have real needs across the squad. Midfield reinforcements, potentially 2 of them. The balance has to be right across the whole window. And if you commit 100 million plus wages to Williams and then find you've got nothing left to fix the midfield properly, you've robbed Peter to pay Paul. Great clubs don't build that way. Great clubs have a transfer strategy that addresses multiple positions in a coordinated way. And I genuinely hope that whoever is making these decisions at Ineos has that bigger picture clearly in mind, because it would be very easy to get seduced by the glamour of a Nico Williams signing. He's exciting, he's young, he plays for Spain, he was brilliant at a major tournament. The social media content practically writes itself, but football transfers are not made for social media. They're made to win football matches. And a player who is available for 60% of games, as he has been this season, is not helping you win football matches consistently. That is the bottom line. So where does all of this leave me? Where do I actually stand? I'm cautiously open. I'm not dismissing this. I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is do it right or don't do it at all. The Champions League is sorted, the project is alive, the club is going in the right direction. Those are all reasons Williams might genuinely choose United. And if he does, and if his body cooperates, there is a version of this story that ends very well. A version where we're looking at one of the best left wingers in the Premier League in 2 or 3 years, wearing the red shirt, terrorising defences at Old Trafford. I want that version. Of course I want it. I'm a United fan. But I also remember enough transfer windows, enough big money signings, enough excitement that turned into disappointment. And I've learned that the ones that go wrong usually went wrong because someone got excited about the ceiling and forgot to ask the hard questions first. So ask the hard questions, United. Ask them, is he fit? Is he truly fit? Will he be fit next October when the Champions League group stage kicks off? Will he be fit the following February when you need him for the big games? Will he be fit when it actually matters? If the answer is yes, go and get him. If there's any doubt, go and find someone else, because this is Manchester United and we are not in the business of gambles right now. We are in the business of building something real, something that lasts. And every single decision this summer has to be made with that in mind. All right, that's my take. I know some of you will disagree. Some of you will think I'm being too cautious, that you just sign the talent and work out the details later. And honestly, I respect that perspective. I just don't share it. Not with these kinds of numbers, not with this medical history. But that's what the comments are for. Tell me where you stand. Tell me if you'd sign him tomorrow. Tell me if you'd walk away. Tell me who you'd rather United target instead. I want to hear from you. If you got this far, thank you, genuinely. It means a lot that you gave this your time. Hit the like button if this gave you something to think about. Subscribe if you're not already on here, because there is so much more transfer analysis coming as we get into the summer window. And I promise you every single video is going to be this honest, no hype, no agenda, just real analysis for real United fans. I'll see you in the next one.